There is a moment most of us have experienced, a nameless pause where everything seems to freeze. We no longer belong to the old chapter, yet the new one has not yet unfolded. People often call it being stuck, but in the language of quantum mechanics, it is not a standstill. It is the state of superposition, an interference zone where all latent possibilities await selection. Imagine you are a character in a novel. The author has just turned the page to a blank sheet, not yet writing a single word. The space is silent, no dialogue, no action. But beneath the surface, infinite storylines are vibrating, waiting to be chosen. This is the moment between chapters of life. And the fascinating part is this: you are not the one waiting to read, you are the one holding the pen. In quantum physics, the quantum field does not operate along a linear timeline. It is more like a multi-layered symphony. It already contains every version of you: the successful one, the healed one, the one who found love, the one who has released fear. When you feel stuck in truth, you are standing at the threshold between the familiar self and the potential self. The problem lies in interpretation. Society teaches us that waiting means failure, that stillness equals wasted time. Yet, from the perspective of the universe, that pause is the point of energetic restructuring. It is the moment when old vibrations dissolve and a new frequency begins to form. If you know how to listen, you'll realize that stagnation is actually the space where your future frequency is tuning itself into harmony with you. Picture it like tuning a musical instrument. After finishing a song, a musician does not rush into the next melody. They pause, tighten the strings, adjust the pitch. That silence determines the quality of the next performance. So too with your life. The feeling of being lost is not a dead end. It is the moment the universe is tuning the strings of your frequency. Neuroscience calls this the phase of neural restructuring. When you break free from familiar loops, the brain feels disoriented because it hasn't yet built a new pattern. You experience uncertainty, but in reality, synaptic connections are rewriting the map. In other words, you are standing in the quantum void, where the old has died and the new has not yet been born. Shift your perspective and you will understand. Silence, delay, stillness, these are not failures, but gateways to a new timeline. And instead of fearing them, you can embrace them as an invitation to recalibrate, to tune your frequency, to prepare to embody the version of yourself you have always dreamed of. Because in the end, life is not a straight line. It is a piece of music. And the space between chapters, between notes, is where the universe whispers, a new chapter is about to begin. Now imagine before you lies an infinite screen stretching like a starry sky. Upon it, millions of your versions exist in parallel. One who has achieved brilliant success, one who has discovered profound love, one who has healed deep wounds, one who has released every trace of fear. They all exist simultaneously, not in some distant future, but right now in the quantum field, where every possibility already resides. In everyday life, we are taught that in order to achieve something, we must create it, work hard, prove ourselves, race against time. But quantum mechanics reveals a truth that overturns this logic. Manifestation is not the process of creating something from nothing. It is the process of aligning with what already exists at another frequency. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. If you want to hear jazz, you don't need to find the band performing live. You simply turn the dial to the right frequency. The music has always been there, waiting for you to tune in. Life works the same way. The reality you desire, success, love, freedom, healing, is not something you must manufacture, but a song that has been playing endlessly in the quantum field. The real question is not, does it exist? But, are you tuned to the right frequency to hear it? Modern science echoes this truth. In the famous double-slit experiment, electrons do not occupy a fixed position until they are observed. Before that moment, they exist as probability, waves, in countless positions simultaneously. Your life is the same. Every version of you vibrates like probability waves in the quantum field. And when you choose a vibration, a belief, an emotional state, You become the observer who collapses the wave into a concrete reality. The issue is, most of us continue broadcasting the frequency of our old self: lack, fear, doubt. We keep tuning to the same channel every day, then wonder why life doesn't change. The quantum field does not respond to your words, it responds to the vibration you embody. If you feel lack, you connect to the timeline of lack. If you truly feel abundance, you step into the timeline of abundance. So what is the secret? It is not to chase, not to cling, but to become the person who already lives in the reality you desire. If you seek love, live as though you are in love, trusting, open-hearted, gentle. If you seek success, embody the confidence and creativity of someone successful starting today. Remember, the quantum field does not hear your pleas. It simply mirrors who you are in each moment. And when you genuinely harmonize with your desired version, the quantum field has no choice but to collapse into that matching reality. This is not wishful thinking. This is physics. Just like the frequency of a piece of music or the coherence of a laser beam, when vibrations align and intensify, they restructure the surrounding space. You are your own laser. When you concentrate your energy, you illuminate and transform reality. So do not ask, when will I have it? Instead, ask, who must I become to live in that reality? For in the quantum field, every version of you already exists. And every choice, every vibration, is the step you take through the doorway of infinite possibilities. To meet yourself, the version who is already whole, already abundant, already living the life you once dreamed. Here lies a truth few want to accept. The universe does not hear your begging. It does not respond to affirmations you repeat, nor does it care about the frantic actions you take to prove your worth. The quantum field, the space where all possibilities exist, cares only about one thing: the frequency you are broadcasting in each moment. In other words, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Picture this. You can stand in front of a radio shouting, "Play the song I love." But the radio will never respond. It does not operate in your language. It only works by frequency. Only when you turn the dial to the correct channel will the music play. The quantum field works exactly the same way. No matter how many prayers you say, how many affirmations you write, or how hard you try, if your internal vibration does not match the reality you desire, that door remains closed. And this is where most people get stuck. They say, "I want abundance," yet deep inside they tremble with fear of lack. They declare, "I'm ready for love," yet their heart remains closed in doubt and old wounds. They affirm, "I am free," yet every choice they make is still driven by fear of loss and judgment. The quantum field does not reflect your wishes. It reflects the essence of your vibration. If you carry scarcity within you, it will deliver experiences of lack. If you live in fear, it will send you situations that reinforce that fear. This may sound harsh, but in truth, it is the most impartial and fair law of the universe. The universe does not reward those who do more, nor punish those who do less. It simply responds to the frequency you emit, like a flawless mirror, without bias, without error. So what truly creates transformation? The state of being. When you step into the vibration aligned with what you desire, there is no need to convince the universe. You become the broadcast channel of that reality itself. At that moment, the quantum field has no other choice but to collapse into the version of reality that matches your signal. Modern neuroscience proves that emotions are the electromagnetic signals the body radiates. Your heart, according to research from the HeartMath Institute, creates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain. This means it is not positive thinking, but your inner emotional state that is the true language the universe listens to. Think back to moments when you accidentally met the right person, found the right opportunity, or stumbled into the perfect situation. All of it unfolded naturally without force. That was not random. That was you resonating at the frequency of alignment, and the quantum field simply mirrored it back. The greatest challenge is not to want more, but to become more. It's not about pulling reality toward you, but about stepping into the vibration of that reality. When you embody fullness, love, and confidence, the people and events in your life automatically rearrange themselves to reflect that state. Remember, the universe does not hear what you say nor see what you do. It feels who you are. And when you truly become the version of yourself who already lives your dream, the quantum field has only one option: to manifest it in your life. Picture yourself sending out a signal into the universe, like a radio wave. You say, "I want abundance, I want freedom, I want wholeness." But deep inside, another voice whispers, "I am lacking, I am not enough, I am afraid of losing." When these two signals are broadcast simultaneously, the quantum field does not listen to your words. It detects the true frequency you are vibrating at, and most often the stronger frequency is fear, doubt, or scarcity. The result? The field reflects scarcity instead of the abundance you think you are calling in. This is the inner paradox most of us face. We desire the new but cling tightly to the old. We speak of wealth but manage money with fear. We long for love but keep our hearts closed, still wounded. This contradiction creates signal distortion. The vibrations you send into the universe become blurred, twisted, and inevitably, the reality reflected back is also distorted. Always remember, the quantum field does not mirror what you want, it mirrors what you are. And if you are a mixture of desire and fear, you will experience a half-formed reality, sometimes arriving, sometimes slipping away. So how do you break free from this loop? The answer: let go of the old self. The old self is the sum of beliefs, memories and habits that shaped your current version. It is programmed to live in scarcity, to keep seeking without ever feeling enough. And when you bring this self into the process of manifestation, you are simply recreating the same old loop, the loop of lack. Letting go of the old self does not mean erasing memory or denying the past. It means you stop allowing the past to dictate your present vibration. You sit with your fears, feel them, and release them, instead of letting them control every choice. Think of it like upgrading a device. If you want to tune into a new frequency, you must clear the old channel, reset the receiver. Otherwise, no matter how you turn the dial, the signal will always carry static. Your life works the same way. To truly welcome abundance, you must reset yourself, step out of the habits of lack, the mindset of "I'm not enough," and step into the state of "I already am." This is not abstract theory. Even in quantum physics, a particle cannot remain both a wave and a particle when observed. It must collapse into a single reality. You are the same. You cannot vibrate scarcity while calling in abundance. You must choose. And once you choose, when you fully align with the new state, the quantum field instantly reorganizes reality to reflect it. Remember, all inner conflicts are interference. Your task is not to push harder, to want more, but to release what no longer serves. When the old self dissolves, your signal becomes clear. And when the signal is clear, the reality that returns to you will be luminous, whole, and exactly as you have always desired. In quantum physics, there is a phenomenon called wave function collapse. It occurs when countless potential states in the quantum field shrink into one, selecting a single reality to reveal. In human life, there are moments just like this. We call it the collapse point. But do not mistake it for an ending. It is, in truth, the gateway to a new timeline. Before you step into another version of yourself, wealthier, freer, more loving, the old self will resist fiercely. It feels threatened because its very existence is fading. And the ego never relinquishes control quietly. You will feel as if everything is collapsing. Unstable work, shaky relationships, financial turbulence, emotional chaos. At times, you may believe you've failed, that the universe has turned its back on you. But, in truth, this is the very point of transformation. Imagine a caterpillar before it becomes a butterfly. It must completely dissolve inside the cocoon, almost turning into a formless liquid mass. From the caterpillar's perspective, this is destruction. But from the perspective of the universe, it is rebirth. A new structure is being formed. Your life works the same way. As you approach a new timeline, old structures must disintegrate. In neuroscience, this is called neuroplasticity. the brain's ability to rewire itself. The brain, once accustomed to old pathways, is forced to break obsolete neural connections to make space for new ones. This process is not easy. It creates feelings of disorientation, doubt, and even pain. Yet within that chaos, an entirely new model of perception is born. And if you can stand firm through the dark night of the soul, if you refuse to quit even when your old identity screams the loudest, then the collapse point becomes the gateway to a quantum leap. The universe never brings you to collapse to destroy you. It brings you there to free you, to make you see what no longer fits, to force you to release what you cling to, and to rebirth you into a version aligned with the vibration you've already chosen. So when everything feels like it's falling apart, try shifting your perspective. It's not failure, it's the old structure crumbling. It's not that you're losing, it's that you're expanding. It's not a full stop, it's a comma in your grand journey. The collapse point is the universe's invitation. Will you let go so you can become more? If you nod yes, if you choose to keep walking even without seeing the light ahead, you will witness something extraordinary. Reality begins to restructure itself. New opportunities appear, new people show up, new states of being arise, and suddenly you realize you've stepped into an entirely different timeline. Remember, the collapse point is not where you end. It's the hidden door to rebirth. And sometimes to open a new reality, the universe must dissolve you within the old one, just like a collapsing wave function, so you can select one singular form, a stronger, brighter, freer version of yourself. In the universe, everything operates through frequency and vibration. An electron, a star, even your heart, all are rhythms of resonance. When these rhythms are scattered, chaotic, they produce noise. But when they merge and synchronize, they generate a powerful, coherent energy field, and the quantum field cannot help but respond. This is coherence, the state where thought, emotion, and action become one. Imagine you want to shift timelines, to make a quantum jump. You sit, close your eyes, and imagine your future self, free, wealthy, happy. But if inside you still doubt, if your heart is anxious and your daily actions contradict your vision, then the signal you emit splits into fragments, like an orchestra where every musician plays a different tempo. The result? The quantum field only hears noise. But when you enter coherence, everything changes. Science shows that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field thousands of times stronger than the brain. When the heart and brain synchronize, your brain waves become ordered. Your autonomic nervous system shifts from stress to balance. In this state, you no longer desperately want the new reality. You become it, here and now. And once you become it, the quantum field reflects it instantly. In other words, the universe does not respond to what you wish for, but to what you are coherent with. Take physics as an example. In wave interference, two waves in phase amplify each other, creating enormous resonance. Similarly, when thought, emotion, and action synchronize, the energy you emit multiplies exponentially, strong enough to break through the old reality and leap into a new timeline. This explains why many meditate, pray, or repeat affirmations without seeing change, because they only think it, while emotions tremble and actions contradict. That is incoherence, lack of alignment. And incoherence only recreates more conflict in life. Coherence is not about forcing yourself to be positive. It's true inner alignment. When you think of abundance, you feel it in your heart, and you act as though it is already here. When these three layers align, you become like a laser beam, sharp, focused, impossible for the quantum field to ignore. This is the foundation of the quantum jump. Every quantum leap is not a miracle from outside, but a vibrational shift from within. When you are coherent, you no longer push yourself forward with exhausting willpower. Instead, you are pulled toward the timeline already waiting for you. The universe no longer resists you, because in that moment you and the universe are one. Imagine you are a small boat on the ocean. If the oars, action, the sail, emotion, and the compass, thought, point in three directions, you drift aimlessly. But when all three align, wind and waves carry you swiftly to shore. Coherence is when you become the symphony of mind, heart, and action. And once that symphony plays, the quantum field has only one choice: to harmonize and open the timeline. You've chosen. In physics, everything vibrates, atoms oscillate, stars radiate, and you, a conscious being, constantly emit frequency. But here's a truth few realize: touching the desired frequency once is not enough. What matters is how long you can sustain it. Imagine you are a musical instrument. Even if perfectly tuned, over time, under the influence of environment, humidity and temperature, the strings drift out of pitch. Unless the musician keeps adjusting, the music becomes disharmonious. Life works the same way. Alignment with the quantum field is not a one-time miracle. It is a steady practice. In quantum mechanics, when you align, your frequency resonates with a timeline that already exists in the quantum field. In that moment, the door opens. Synchronicities appear. Flow guides you. Life feels orchestrated. But if you lose focus, let fear creep in, or old emotions drag you down, your signal distorts. And the quantum field mirrors exactly that. The universe does not respond to fleeting wishes. It responds to stable frequencies. A consistent signal creates a consistent reality. This explains why many people experience moments of sudden awakening, as if they've touched absolute truth, only to fall back into old patterns days later. It's not because the universe withdrew its gift, but because they haven't mastered the art of sustaining frequency. Sustaining frequency does not mean forcing yourself to always be positive or happy. It's an awareness, an inner commitment to continually adjust yourself back into alignment, like a patient musician retuning strings. Each day you observe the vibration you're sending. Is it rooted in trust or fear, in abundance or lack? And if you find yourself out of tune, you adjust, through breath, through meditation, through small aligned actions with the frequency you've chosen. In physics, a laser is the perfect example of frequency stability. A regular beam of light is just a mixture of many wavelengths, but a laser is coherent light, every photon moving in the same phase, in the same rhythm. That is why a laser can cut through steel, pierce through crystals. Your power works the same way. When your frequency is held steady, you become the laser in the quantum field, and the timeline you choose has no choice but to appear. Remember, resilience does not lie in finding alignment once, but in returning to it 1,000 times. Each time you fall out of alignment, you are given another chance to fine-tune even deeper, just like a musician who becomes more masterful with their instrument the more they play. Life does not demand perfection. It demands persistence. The quantum field does not respond to momentary effort, but to the energy field you patiently sustain. So remember, you don't have to chase a new timeline. You only need to hold your frequency day after day. Just as the strings of an instrument are constantly tuned, the symphony of your life will resound in its fullness. And the universe, as the ultimate audience, will harmonize with you. Throughout our lives, we are often taught that we must desire more, crave harder, to achieve anything. But in the language of the quantum field, wanting is not the key. Because when you say "I want," you are sending out the signal that you do not yet have. And the quantum field, which only mirrors frequency, will continue to deliver to you the experience of not having. True transformation happens when you shift from wanting to being. Imagine standing before a vast cosmic mirror. If you smile, the mirror smiles back. If you frown, the mirror reflects the frown. You cannot wait for the mirror to smile first before you smile in return. The universe works the same way. It does not hand you abundance, love, or healing first so that you may believe. It reflects who you are right now. In quantum mechanics, this is the principle of the observer creating reality. Reality is not fixed. It oscillates among countless probabilities. When you are, when you live, think, and feel as though it has already manifested, you collapse the wave function, moving that potential into actuality. The problem is that humans often get trapped in the game of searching for proof. If the universe truly supports me, give me a sign. If abundance really exists, prove it. Yet in the very moment you wait for proof, you broadcast doubt. And the quantum field, honest as a mirror, can only reflect that lack. The power lies Here you need no proof. You walk as though you are already abundant, already loved, already healed. You don't wait for love to arrive before loving yourself. You love right now. You don't wait for opportunities before living fully. You live fully right now. And as an inevitable law, the quantum field must reflect who you are. Think of an actor. Before the cameras roll, they embody their character. They do not wait for the character to exist in real life. They become the character first. Once they are the character, every action, word, and gesture flows naturally. The universe functions the same way. You don't wait for abundance to show up. You embody abundance. You don't wait for healing. You live as though you are healed. And reality outside can only follow the script already written in your energy. Modern psychology calls this the embodiment effect. When you embody the desired state, your nervous system and hormones begin to synchronize with that experience. The brain does not distinguish between real and imagined. It only responds to the signals you send. So when you live as though you already have your body and mind produce biological evidence of it, when you no longer need the wish to prove your worth, the wish itself manifests, because you have stopped broadcasting lack and instead radiate wholeness. The universe has no choice but to mirror that wholeness. The shift from wanting to being is the turning point. It is the line between someone who forever chases a dream and someone who lives the dream now. And when you are, you don't have to chase the new timeline. That timeline finds you. In the human subconscious, surrender is often tied to weakness, defeat, or loss of control. But in the language of the universe and quantum mechanics, surrender is not collapse. It is the doorway into infinite power. Imagine trying to swim upstream in a vast river. You struggle, you exhaust yourself, you try to control every current. Yet the river itself is the quantum field, where all possibilities already exist. When you stop resisting, when you let yourself be carried, you realize the river has always been taking you where you need to go. This is surrender. In quantum physics, surrender is like ceasing to force one outcome out of countless probabilities. When the observer tries to control the wave function, they narrow reality into the small limits of the ego. But when you open to infinite possibilities, the universe can orchestrate outcomes far greater than the mind can imagine. Surrender is not abandoning your dreams, it is abandoning forceful control. Because the truth is, when you are constantly in a state of demand, you are broadcasting that you do not yet have. You send out a desperate command. Bring it to me, for I am lacking. The quantum field does not respond to your plea. It mirrors your frequency. And if you radiate lack, you experience lack. The shift begins when you move from demanding to allowing. What does allowing mean? It means you trust that abundance, love, and healing already exist in the quantum field right now. You don't force them to arrive at the exact time, in the exact way, or in the exact form your ego insists upon. You open yourself to let them appear in the most perfect way the universe arranges. Neuroscientists call this the alpha and theta states, when the brain stops operating under stressed control and falls into receptive rhythms. In that state, the body opens to regeneration, intuition arises, and strange coincidences, synchronicities, show up in your life. Surrender is not weakness, it is supreme strength, because when you surrender, you are no longer relying on your small human force. You allow the power of the universe, the intelligence of the quantum field, the current of primordial energy, to flow through you. Picture an antenna. If it is bent, the signal is distorted. If it tries to transmit beyond its capacity, the signal is weak. But when the antenna is perfectly tuned, it doesn't struggle. It simply allows the waves to pass through, and at that moment, it becomes the strongest transmitter. You are the same. When you surrender, you become the channel of the universe. You don't need to prove, to force, to chase. You simply exist, open, and allow the miracle to move through. Surrender is the great paradox. Only when you release the need to control do you step into your true power. And from that moment, life ceases to be a battle and becomes a dance with the universe. In every quantum experiment, scientists have discovered a strange truth. The observer does not merely watch reality, but also influences it. When you look at an electron, it no longer exists as many possibilities, but collapses into a single event. This reveals a profound secret. We are not passive beings living in a pre-given world. We are creators of reality through our state of being, and this is the very essence of transformation, to live as the embodiment of the new reality. Most of us, when thinking about manifesting, imagine that we must attract something from the outside, a relationship, an opportunity, money, or healing. But that is the illusion of the ego. In truth, you do not need to pull anything toward you. You only need to become the version of yourself who already lives in that reality. Imagine you want to experience abundance. You may pray, make plans, or perform every spiritual ritual you know. But if in every moment you still tremble at the thought of loss, still count every coin, still act as if the world is scarce, then the quantum field hears only one signal: scarcity. Conversely, if you begin to live as though abundance is already here, you feel gratitude even for a simple meal. You share even the little that you have. You walk with the confidence of someone unafraid of the future. Then every state, every choice, becomes a signal you send into the quantum field. And the universe, like a quantum mirror, reflects that frequency back to you, unfolding people, situations, and opportunities that resonate with it. The miracle here is that no effort is required to pull, no forcing is necessary. Just like sunlight, it does not chase after flowers, yet flowers naturally turn toward it. When you embody the new reality, everything resonant with that frequency finds its way to you naturally, as if by a law of physics. In cinematic language, it is as if a character has rewritten the script within themselves. When they shift roles from victim to creator, the entire set around them transforms, and that shift does not need to be written from the outside. It begins from the inner state of the character. To live as the embodiment of the new reality means no more pretending. You are not acting. You are not forcing yourself to appear. You simply are. Every breath, every thought, every feeling aligns with the new frequency. You no longer ask, when will it come, because you know it is already here. Scientists call this resonance. When two frequencies meet, they no longer remain separate, but merge as one. When you live as though you are already in the new reality, you resonate with it, and gradually the quantum field can no longer distinguish between what is desired and what is real. It simply reflects the frequency you are, and that is when the miracle happens. You are no longer chasing the dream, you are living inside it. You no longer ask the universe to give you something, you are the answer. Every action, every state, every choice becomes a silent command sent into the quantum field, and the universe, like an invisible director, rearranges the entire stage around your new role. This is not the secret of manifesting. This is the very nature of existence. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. In the world of quantum mechanics, there is a truth that has astonished both scientists and philosophers alike. All possibilities already exist. The quantum field is not an empty void. It is an invisible ocean containing all versions of you: success and failure, love and loss, vibrant health and illness, prosperity and lack. Every branch of life already exists there, simultaneously, like countless parallel universes layered upon each other. The challenge is not to create a new reality. You do not need to force, command the universe, or invent something that does not exist. The reality you long for is already there, waiting. The only thing you must do is become the version of yourself who lives in that reality. Imagine you want a life filled with abundance. In the quantum field, that version already exists, one where you live free, grateful, unafraid of scarcity. But if in the present moment you still live in fear, still believe in not enough, then the frequency you broadcast will only resonate with realities of lack. The quantum field does not respond to your requests. It reflects only the frequency you are sustaining. It is just like a radio. All stations exist simultaneously in the space around you, but you only hear the one your dial is tuned to. If you want classical music, but your radio remains on the news channel, yelling or praying, will not change anything. You simply need to turn the dial. In life, that turn of the dial is the inner shift, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and state of being. When you stabilize your frequency, meaning you sustain resonance with the version of yourself who already lives in the new reality. The quantum field no longer distinguishes between illusion and truth. It only reflects. And the world around you begins to reorganize itself to match the frequency you emit. Remember, manifestation is not about forcing. It is not a miracle bestowed from outside. It is the natural process of resonance. However you vibrate, the universe responds accordingly. And here lies the core message. Everything you desire already exists in the quantum field. You do not need to create it. You only need to become the version of yourself who lives in that reality. When your frequency stabilizes, the quantum field inevitably mirrors back the corresponding reality, just as a mirror reflects an image. So instead of asking, "How can I get it?" begin to ask, "If I were already in that reality, how would I think? How would I feel? What choices would I make each day?" And then, when you answer through your state of being, the universe has no choice but to reflect it. This is not mystical spirituality. This is the profound logic of quantum mechanics. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are.